Gangsters harass a waitress, but a Navy SEAL and his German Shepherd are watching. Welcome to Kindness Unlimited, the channel where powerful stories remind us that good still exists. If this story moves you even a little, subscribe, like, and comment to support more real, meaningful stories that restore faith in humanity. Now listen carefully, because this moment changes everything. It was close to midnight at a small roadside diner in Arizona, USA. The neon lights buzzed softly outside, while the air inside smelled of coffee and fried food. Emily, a young waitress working the late shift, wiped the counter slowly, already exhausted but pushing through another long night. The diner door swung open, and three men walked in together. Leather jackets, heavy boots, loud laughter. Their presence changed the atmosphere instantly. Emily felt it in her chest before anything even happened. She forced a polite smile and greeted them, reminding herself that customers were customers, no matter how they looked. From the moment they sat down, the men began making comments. At first, it was mocking jokes, then it turned personal. One whistled when Emily walked by. Another leaned too close when ordering coffee. She tried to ignore it, focusing on her job, hoping they would eat and leave. But they didn't. They laughed louder. They snapped their fingers to call her over. One of them brushed her hand intentionally when she placed a plate on the table. Emily stepped back, her heart pounding, but there was no manager tonight and no other staff to help her. Other customers noticed the tension. One by one, they paid quickly and left. The diner grew quiet except for the gangsters' voices. Emily felt trapped. When she asked politely for payment, one man slammed his hand on the table and told her to relax. In the far corner of the diner sat a man who hadn't moved all night. He looked calm, almost invisible, strong build, short hair, steady eyes. At his feet lay a German Shepherd, perfectly still, watching everything without making a sound. Emily didn't know his name. She didn't know his past. All she knew was that when one gangster stood up and grabbed her wrist, fear rushed through her body like ice. Her voice disappeared, her breath caught. Then a calm, firm voice spoke from the corner booth. "That's enough." Every head turned. The man stood slowly. The German Shepherd rose with him, alert and focused. The room felt different now, heavier, quieter. The gangsters laughed nervously, unaware that in this small diner they had just crossed paths with someone who had spent his life stopping men exactly like them. The laughter didn't last long. One of the gangsters took a step forward, trying to act tough, but there was uncertainty in his eyes now. The calm man didn't raise his voice or rush. He simply stood there, shoulders squared, watching every movement as if time itself had slowed down inside the diner. The German Shepherd moved slightly ahead of him, placing itself between Emily and the men. Its posture was disciplined, controlled, trained, no barking, no chaos, just a low warning growl that echoed through the silence. Emily felt her legs weaken, but somehow she managed to step back, away from the table. One of the gangsters reached inside his jacket, his intention clear. Before anyone could react, the man moved. It was fast, too fast to fully see. In a single motion, he grabbed the attacker's wrist, twisted it, and the knife clattered to the floor. Pain replaced arrogance as the man dropped to his knees. The second gangster rushed forward, but the German Shepherd blocked his path instantly. Its eyes locked onto him, muscles tense, ready but restrained. The man froze, realizing one wrong move could end badly. The third gangster backed away, hands raised, fear finally visible on his face. The man spoke again, his voice steady and controlled. "Sit down, now." Something about his tone made it clear this was not a request. The gangsters obeyed, breathing hard, pride completely gone. Emily pressed herself against the counter, tears filling her eyes, struggling to process what was happening. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone outside must have called the police. The man kept his focus until the sound grew louder, never taking his eyes off the gangsters. The German Shepherd remained perfectly still, guarding the space like a silent shield. When the police entered, the tension finally broke. Officers moved quickly, securing the gangsters and leading them away in handcuffs. One officer glanced at the man and nodded with respect, recognizing the posture, the calm, the discipline of a former Navy SEAL. Emily finally found her voice. Her hands shook as she whispered, "Thank you." The man turned to her, his expression softening. "You did nothing wrong," he said quietly. "You're safe now." He placed money on the counter, far more than the bill, and gave a short whistle. The German shepherd followed as they walked toward the door. Emily watched them disappear into the night, realizing that sometimes protection arrives quietly, without warning, and leaves just as silently, after restoring hope.